I'm not sure if the sound works, so let's see. I'm going to share this. Chat, 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 chat. Is it working? Is it working? I'm gonna let Patreon know when the Google Hangout code is. I hope I don't have mint chocolate chips in my braces. For $4 or more. And then, so we'll make the chat possible for the patrons who pledge $4 or more, but we'll let the whole live stream be active to everyone. Oh. All right. I think I need to tell people about this. Is that what I need to do? Is it on YouTube? Let's check. I have all these plane deals open for travel to try and plan a fancy trip at the end of August. Getting settled with live streams is always so difficult. I don't understand why. I just don't get it. It says Stow Eyes is streaming now. Lindsey is live. Oh, all right. There I am on YouTube. So if I go to the dashboard and view channel, then it has it live. It says that 3 people are watching. Oh, hi, Ollie. The dashboard. And it looks like there's a chat that I can do. You hear me? And then on Google Hangouts, Sheldon is here. So lots of things are going on all at once.
Oh. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I guess I'm the first one.
Pardon me?
Am I here?
Up your there's a lot of static and bounce back.
Oh, okay.
Maybe if I find some headphones. Let me see. I'll be right back.
Livestream.
Okay, no luck with the headphones. I tried to find some, but I couldn't.
Okay.
Hi, other person.
Yeah, I'm Shelly, and this is Devin.
Hi, I'm Lindsey. So I'm seeing if the chat and the group chat works, but I may go over to the Facebook chat so that more people more people can participate there.
Okay.
I'm not live streaming on accident. Oh, Nick is here. That's fun. Okay, so I have an indefinite amount of time. I do need to write down some ideas for my Sex Heroes episode for our 3rd anniversary. This is Google, by the way. I have had this since before Google was a thing. They're a type of stuffed animal. They're called Googles, if you're wondering what's behind me. So I'm thinking about all of my sex heroes, and I have this list that I'm making of all these people that I have already talked about in episodes who are sex heroes to me, and then trying to tease out who is the most prominent or who I haven't mentioned yet. And I'm starting to wonder, I think I need to set stimulations for what a sex hero means to me and then build from there. Maybe identify someone who doesn't exist yet, but say this is what it would be and aspire to be that person. I don't know. Feel free to share your ideas in the comments on YouTube, or if you're on the Google chat, you can just say them out loud. Mr. P86, I will not marry you. Thank you for asking for my consent. What other comments? Where is everyone writing from? That's what I always love to know, is what states and cities and countries are participating. So we have North Carolina. I have been watching Trey Crowder lately, who identifies as a liberal redneck, and it is so entertaining. And he has 2 episodes about the bathroom issues, and they just crack me up. New York, Sweden. Did I miss any? Indiana, Ohio. I need to look up Monica James Lauren because I am not sure who that person is. New Haven, Connecticut, San Francisco, LA, Denmark, El Paso, Texas. I've heard, I really want to do an episode about hickeys. And I always tried to build it around when I get a hickey, but somehow when I get a hickey, it doesn't ever line up with shooting days. And so then it just kind of passes. But I do want to do an episode on hickeys because I have some profound things to say about them. One of the ways that I heard of being able to remove them, and then I'll do more research so that I can share it all the ways in an episode, is by taking one of those small plastic combs and combing it. Okay, let's see. Basque Country. Nathan is in Missoula, LA. Delaware. Maybe see who was an advocate against sex ed stuff. And so, by the way, I'm reading the comments right now. Sex ed stuff, and you'll find someone who is influential against one another. Get to see the other side of the story and what makes others heroes. Yeah. That is a really great way to look at it. I was watching Tumblr. I was reading Tumblr, and there was this interview, and the man kept saying things like, women are lying when they say they want to work, and women are lying when they leave the home and enjoy it. They are suited to be in the house and raise families, and that is what they enjoy most. And they're just, the feminists are just, oh gosh, I can't even remember what it was because I've tried to repress it, but he is definitely someone who is on a side of what I would consider sex villains, and I am curious who the hero would be in that situation. That's such a great way to look at it. Okay, Belgium, awesome. I don't know how this is, but there's so many fans in Belgium. It's so awesome when I go to send the care packages each month. Belgium is one that comes up and comes up and comes up. Wisconsin, an American studying in the Netherlands, who says that someone who is sexually accepting and knowledgeable, wants to educate people, is a sex hero. Illinois, Australia. Well, it jumped. Chile, Germany, Canada, Australia, Toronto, Netherlands, Australia, Scotland, Cuyahoga Falls. I lived there for a little bit. Not where I had my first kiss, but definitely some kissing happened in Cuyahoga Falls. Pittsburgh, cool. Well, I'm so excited that all of you are here, and if you continue to write me messages in the comments, then I will answer whatever questions I can for you. Again, I'm trying to work on an episode about my sex heroes, so if you have any suggestions there, that would be helpful. Or if you want, which would be equally cool, you can go on Twitter and you can vote for the episode to be something different, and then I can write about my sex heroes, or I can write, the mission is 100 answers to 100 sex questions in 4 minutes, kind of John Green style. So you just let me know what you want to have happen. I'm going to write them both in case one of them comes to the top. And then I shoot tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. It's going to be a busy day. Okay. Ooh, a ghost in my room. Yes, Tristan is great. I have also talked about her before. So I think in the episode, what I'm going to do is list off all of the people in episodes that I have talked about, to catalog it all and say, look, these are all of the people that I have held space for who are awesome, and we'll go from there. Get this, so on Facebook, this is so funny to me. I'm going to pull this up so I can tell you exactly what the dialogue was. I was on this explanations page. Some of you can follow along with me if you want. Going to this explanations page. And I said, now it seems that an episode of My Sex Heroes is going to take the win, and I'm trying to think of those heroes I haven't already discussed on Sexplanations. Any suggestions of people who have saved or are saving Sex Planet? And if you go to the comments and scroll to about just close to the bottom, Adriana said Sunny Megatron. And I was like, who is Sunny Megatron? And so I looked up Sunny Megatron and saw that she has a show, I think it's on HBO or one of those things that are not accessible to me because I don't have cable. I just have YouTube. I have YouTube. I don't need cable. And so I did some more searching. Sunny Megatron went to her Twitter page. And if you go with me right now to Twitter, on her Twitter page, so now I'm searching, Sunny Megatron. There's this voluptuous redhead, redhead, not orange redhead, who has over 10,000 followers and over 25,000 tweets. And I scroll down a little. Oh, it's not there anymore. Did she take it off? Oh my goodness. She took it off the account. Let's see. I have a notification that tells me. No, it's not telling me what's going on. Anyway, I don't know why it's not working now, but when I originally went to her page and I scrolled down, there was an image of me from the neck to about mid-thighs in lingerie tied up in ropes. That was from, so okay, now I need to leave Tumblr and I need to go back to the live page so that we can check in about what you're all saying here and if you're following here. Okay. Oh, you're all saying very exciting things. Maybe you're not following my story at all. Okay, well, here's the rest of the story. So there's this image on her page that's of me from 10 years ago when I was ghostwriting sex courses. And because the sex courses needed a visual element to them, I wrote a course about power play, and I really wanted to have visual demonstrations of bondage, and I didn't have a model. So, well, that's not true. I had a model, but we needed more models. And so I was a model, and I put myself in my own ropes, and I was wearing lingerie just to like set the scene. And so those images are part of a course that you have to pay to take. So I don't know how Sunny Megatron got these images, but you can imagine my surprise when I'm like, the suggestion is, hey, Lindsey, this could be a sex hero, Sunny Megatron. I'm like, who is Sunny Megatron? I go look up Sunny Megatron, and there I am wearing lingerie and ropes. We're connected all along. Okay, so let me now catch up on the comments. Susie Bright, I do know about, but I need to look into her more. Argentina, awesome. I'm glad Sexplanations exist too, and I can't believe it's been 3 years, and I'm pretty sure that somewhere in somebody's vlog I was asked, how long do you want to do this for? And I think I said 3 years. So I'm going to do 3 years, and then what? I don't know. I suppose keep going. My Twitter is @LTD. LTD are my initials, but it's all spelled out, so it's ELLTEEDEE. Share height, yes, awesome. Do I know of any bisexual or pansexual heroes, sex heroes? And I feel like so many of the people who are my sex heroes are bi or pan, unless they're A. More to be told. Sex hero is someone who empowers people to explore, grow, and feel free to enjoy their sexuality. Erica Moen. Whoa, it just jumped. I don't want to link to the tweet because it's taking so much work just to find it again. I don't know if she pulled it off her page. I don't know where it went. It was there before, right on her wall. I think it might be on mine. Sorry, I must seem scatterbrained because, one, I'm talking to myself, and so I'm just jumping subjects based on where I am in reading your comments. But yeah, when I go to my homepage, it's not there. When I go, let's see, if I go to my profile, the top tweet says, I just learned about Sunny Megatron. Imagine how surprised I was to find a photo of me in ropes on her Twitter page. And then it's a retweet, so it has the image. And I think it's the reason why she used the image is because she's teaching a course on the fundamentals of BDSM. I don't know. It feels like such a compliment because, you know, those images were so rudimentary-ish. Like, I definitely didn't know all of what I was doing. I knew enough to teach it, but like I didn't know what a bondage photo shoot was like, so I was making it up, and it's pretty cool that she's using that image for her Fundamentals of BDSM course. I like it. Okay, let's get back off Twitter, back to YouTube. Okay, comments. Endometriosis. Yes, I can do that. I want to do an entire video about pain during intercourse and endometriosis. I have. What are you? Mystery food? I don't know. Oh, it's coconut. Cool. I'm not even gonna eat that anymore. Gotten a chance to finish reading through the submissions for this explanations writing contest yet? No, I have not at all. There is so many of them. I have delineated between what is something that I can convert to a sexplanations episode and what I can't. And I have kind of organized them by topic, but nothing right now is kind of made to just post. It will take some work on my end, but I'll certainly let you know who wins when I figure that out for myself. It'll probably be after VidCon. I think I missed some questions before that in the comments. Is there a person that comes to mind that's an asexual individual could look up as the sex hero? Yeah. David. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have a battery loss here. David, who set up Avon, I would say is an incredible hero. He's a hero to me. Just the fact that when people recognize that something is needed, like an identity deserves the support and community, and they kind of push through the taboo and the unknown, and they create that community. Heroes. Okay. See, I'm back at the comments now. This person is saying Laura Lee Penicillium Pusher on Tumblr is a sex educator and is asexual, and I think is a sex hero. Okay, I'll look into them. Robbie Harris. That one came up on Facebook too. Why do guys crave women's used panties? Women's used panties? It's another fetish, right? So a lot of the fetish theories would play into that. And I didn't really talk about the theories behind paraphilias in the paraphilias episode of Sexplanations. So I can do that at some point. Yes, I'll add chronic pelvic pain to the pain during intercourse episode. How long does episode production typically take? Why, thank you for asking, because this is an excellent time for me to plug that we have a Patreon account which affords people the opportunity to help us afford our lives. So if you go to patreon.com/sexplanations or search for Sexplanations on Patreon, it's spelled Patreon, then you can look along the right side of the page at all of these rewards that we offer for different pledge amounts. And if you don't want a reward, you can still pledge if you're able to. If you're not, don't worry about it. This is totally free to you. The reason that Sexplanations needs to exist is so that we have more awesome and less suck. And so if you can't afford it, that's totally cool. But if you can, we do need the support. We appreciate it. I would love to get to more episodes per week, mainly because I would like to do a lot of collaborations, and I don't want those collaborations to take away from the kind of Sexplanations prime of doing topics. And so if we could afford to run 2 episodes a week, I would love to have, like, this episode is about I don't know why boners is the first thing that comes to mind, but boners. And then this episode is like an interview with Oprah. Wow, boners and Oprah. That's what's on my mind right now. So yes, patreon.com/sexplanations. So to get back to your question, an episode takes, gosh, me probably a few days of, hang on, one moment. I'm going to put you on pause so I can, Mom, maybe? I don't know. Hang on. Okay. Oh, see, now I see all of you in the Google chat, and you all have your microphones off. But you could talk to me if you want to. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going, reading these comments and telling my story. Oh, right. I was telling the story about how long it takes to do production, and I would say, gosh, like, it probably takes me a week doing maybe 2 to 4 hours a day of research and writing, and then the shoot is usually 2 hours, 3 hours long, and then the cut, gosh, I don't know how quickly Matt does it, maybe 8 hours, 16 hours, and then I come in and check out the draft of that, the edit, and then I think he does some more additions of text and images, and then we post it. Posting it takes like half an hour to do the description and annotations and whatnot. Writing a title is super hard. I don't know why. And then ta-da, is done. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the questions now that are all on the comments. Okay. Yes, all of those. PCOS I've already done. Hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's disease. Is that it is a Google in the background. I talked about it at the beginning of the video. This is what a Google was before Google existed. How long did it take me to finish my PhD? I don't have a PhD. I have a DHS. It's a Doctor of Human Sexuality. It's a professional degree rather than an academic degree. And that took me, gosh, let's see, My undergrad took me 2 years, then I took off a year, then my master's took me 2 years, then I took off a year-ish, and then my doctorate took me 2 years. Overcoming debilitating anxiety. Okay. What I would suggest for that is Katie Morton's channel. But, we could talk about anxiety here too. Sex is great for everything. Except, what is sex not great for? Sex is not great for preventing pregnancy and STI transmission, but there are lots of tools that help sex be that way. How does sex change after marriage? I just got engaged, so I want to be prepared. Oh gosh, nope, I don't have the answer for that. It varies from person to person. Somewhat relevant to the sex heroes topic, I think have you heard of the webcomic Oh Joy Sex Toy? Yes, I have, and if you look back in Sexplanation's history, there is an episode about my favorite sex websites, and Oh Joy Sex Toy is on there. I'm going to do a little review. I'm in a wheelchair. How do I find a sex surrogate in Minnesota? There is a sex surrogate association that you could look up if you just search sex surrogates. If you aren't really after a sex surrogate, but you're after a partner and think that a sex surrogate is your only option for that, I think you can find a partner. I've helped people hook up this way before on Tumblr and can help you again if you'd like that.
What is a sex surrogate?
Can message me at sexplanationspa@gmail.com. Okay, so hang on. I heard something from the Google Hangout. Hi, did you say something?
Hi. Yeah. What exactly is a sex surrogate?
Okay. I heard the question, what exactly is a sex surrogate? But now I'm going to turn you down so there isn't feedback. A sex surrogate is someone who is like a therapeutic stand-in for a partner. So, for example, I'm a talk therapist, which means that I don't touch my clients, except give them high fives. And I will, get the backstory on their family of origin stuff, and we'll talk about their goals and behavior changes and challenges, and I'll give them anatomy and physiology lessons. But I and the client could work with a sex surrogate who could actually interact and do behaviors with that person to teach them, like, this is how you can give a blowjob. This is how you can find your orgasm. This is how this position would work for your body type and abilities. And there's a really, really great movie about a sex surrogate called The Sessions. Sessions. So good. So good. Sex surrogacy to me is so incredibly valuable. It's really hard to come by because, everything having to do with sex is taboo, but it's absolutely necessary. I mean, can you imagine going to a medical doctor and this person is like, hey, here's how you learn to walk again. And you're like, great, except that because I can't walk, I can't do those behaviors. And a sex surrogate is kind of like how a physical therapist would be, where they're helping you actually do the movements so that you can improve, not so that you rely on them or so that they become your sex partner, but so that you can be empowered in your sexuality. Mm-hmm. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Hi, everyone on the chats. Hi! I can't even see its eyes. You're so hairy.
Yes, so is she.
Oh, cuteness.
Oh.
All right, I'm gonna go back to the comments now, unless you have other questions.
I don't think so.
Actually, can you talk a little bit more about like your education experiences, like how you went through school and what that was like?
Yes, I can. So I was born in New York, and then I spent some time in Sarasota, Florida, just being a little kid baby. And then I moved to Hudson, Ohio when I was around 6, I think. And the place we lived in, Hudson, Ohio, is a boarding school, a preparatory boarding high school. And so from that point through high school, I lived at a boarding school. And I went to that boarding school when I was in 9th grade and worked really, really hard because it's really, really hard. We would go to school on Saturdays even. Just awesome experience, but very intense. And so when I moved to Montana and attended the University of Montana, which is not as hard as that high school, I was able to take almost twice as many credits as a full-time student. So full-time status was at around 12 credits, and I was taking 21 credits a semester. So I finished my 4-year undergrad degree in 2 years with summers. And then I studied psychology because I felt like this is a degree that's going to allow me to graduate as fast as possible because I want to be a sex educator and I want to do that with my peers, peer sex education. And I thought that the faster I can get this experience and knowledge, the faster I can get back to teaching my peers because I'll still be close to their age. And then I took a year off and I volunteered at places like Planned Parenthood and taught English as a second language and worked with pregnant and parenting teens. What else did I do? Oh, I was a waitress at a sushi restaurant, which is quite possibly my favorite job. I love sexplanations, but it was really, really fun selling sushi. And then I went back to school for my master's in health and human performance with a concentration in health promotion. I did that again at the University of Montana because when I tried to leave and go to a different school that I was even enrolled in and tuition paid, just couldn't. So my heart kept me here, and I did 2 years of the grad program. And then I think I graduated in July of 2005. And then I went to my doctoral program, which is at the Institute of Advanced Study of Human Sexuality in San Francisco, a very controversial program, but at the time the best in the country. And I think I took a year and a half or 2 years to complete that program. And then all the while doing certification things like becoming an HIV counseling tester and gosh, what else did I get trained in? All sorts of things. And tons and tons and tons of volunteer work, just volunteering for organizations, being on boards, setting up conferences, anything I could get my hands on.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. This one, so I'm back at comments and it says, my wife and I loved your BDSM videos and I'd love you to do more. I will do more. I think I had a dream about it last night, actually. We'll just work through it, don't worry. If there are such alien, non-human, sentient beings that are able to consent, is interspecies sex with them okay? Oh gosh, this is a hard one because I had some of my preceptors, which they're essentially students who are apprenticing for a professor, and they did this activity with my human sexuality class where they had the classroom shift 4 areas of the room depending on how they felt about a topic. And so they would have the people who were for it, against it, didn't know, maybe didn't care, in between. And the topic of bestiality came up. And I would love to do an episode about what happened in that room and what we all learned at that time. And I think that alien sex relates to that, and that I do think that there are ways to express consent between species. And I also think that aliens, if they're a different species and they consent, that, like, why the hell not? Yeah, this is very controversial and super taboo, but I feel like, you know, year 4 of Sexplanations, we should go there. We should go to all sorts of places, like whether or not choking is safe, and incest, and yada yada yada. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be so brave in my 4th year. Okay. Oh, this person is wondering where the audio went. It's because I was taking care of my kiddo. She really wanted to go to the mall, so I let her go to the mall for a little bit. Okay, so more encouragement to do an episode on the theories and models about paraphilias. Curious to understand how we develop relationships between sex and objects and situations. Yeah, that would be the paraphilias piece. U.S. places with good sexology programs. You know, I don't know a ton about them, but I think that if I were to go to school at this point, what I would do most of my research around would be Widener and Michigan's program. I would be happy if you talked about choking. Okay, I will do that. All right, good job me. I did all the comments. Woo! Anything else anybody has on their mind? How are you doing, Google Chat?
What exactly comes out when a female squirts?
Wait, say it again.
Sorry. In my college class, we talked about female squirting, and nobody could find any kind of research on how that comes out.
Okay, I got the words. In my class, female squirting, and nobody could figure out how?
We're typing it.
Okay. I did do a video about female ejaculation.
Oh, sorry.
No. You're fine. It's okay. There's a lot of content. I don't expect everybody to know. But that's where I would suggest going. I don't think that anybody's settled on it yet because the research hasn't been done to the degree that it needs to be in order to get those answers. And I know that there was a study done in Italy, I think, of a very limited population size, like maybe even less than a dozen, that concluded that it was urine, but it's not urine. It's coming from the Skene's gland, or the female prostate. So it's the homologous tissue to a prostate in males, right? So we start as females in the uterus, and then there's sex differentiation that happens. But that same tissue exists in biosex females, and when it's stimulated, it can produce a fluid that's similar. It is clear. It's not opaque white like semen. But that's where it's said to come from. And then I think that it comes out of the no. I was gonna say the Bartholin's glands, and it might. I can do more research there too. But skeins, I'll take it for you. People aren't looking into it because, and I'm being facetious when I say this, but honest, we as a society don't care about female sexuality.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the truth. How's your garden coming along?
Did I say I had a garden?
I know you have chickens.
I do have chickens. I almost killed them this morning.
Oh!
Because,
What happened?
well, we have 16 of them. There had 16 of them. There were 8 hens, big hens, and then there are 8. They started off as little chicks, and now they're like this big. And the hens are very noisy. When they lay an egg, they want everybody to know, and so it's like.
They're proud.
Oh. So I told my partner he needed to get rid of the hens because they were too noisy, and his tactic was to get rid of 5 of the 8, but he got rid of the quietest ones because they don't lay as many eggs. So he kept the 3 loudest ones, and he's been out of town, and this morning they woke me up for the 2nd day in a row, and I almost broke their necks, but I didn't. I just posted on Craigslist that you can have these chickens.
Okay.
It's horrible. They're horrible.
Oh.
There's, like, I loved them at the beginning, but now because there's so much poop that accumulates, there are flies everywhere.
Oh.
And I can't let the dogs into the backyard because they eat the poop. And so it's just a very bad situation.
Yeah, not for everybody.
No. Or not 16 at least. That's
Yeah, it's kind of a lot. I think like maybe, like 3 or 6.
Yeah.
Would be more manageable.
Yeah. Yeah. And in the city where I live, you're only allowed to have 6. I mean, they set parameters. My partner just breaks them.
So they're really his chickens.
Yes, I would say so.
Okay.
But, part of it is not on him. Like when we went to go get the chickens from this other place that had chickens, we took a dog crate to transport them, and they just kept pushing more and more and more and more chickens in there. And so we're like, hey, we can only take 6. They're like, oh, you just take these, and you can kill them right away and eat them. Like, just take them. Kill them, so we just had a lot instead. And then I saw all the baby chicks at the store, and I was like, come on with me. Yeah.
I understand.
Yes. Let's see. I'm going to go back to the comments. People are surprised they're learning about chickens. That's cool. Thoughts on casual sex? Use protection. Get tested. Talk. You can have casual sex and still have very thorough conversations. Okay. Dr. Lindsey, it's scrolling. As a single father of an 8-year-old girl, I wanted you to know that your videos have impacted our lives and we benefit from the knowledge that you share. My daughter loves your videos. Aww! Thanks, Holden Caulfield. That's awesome. Very cool. Did I mention patreon.com/sexplanations? Oh, you guys are so great. I didn't eat. Oh, this one says, see, and that's the other thing. I have a dog that is having a hard time living. She's having a hard time lying down, let alone moving. Back to the chicken. I assume you're referring to the chicken in Dr. Doe. Here's what happens to the chicken in the bag that I bought because I was hungry. I took it home. I had a salad instead. I didn't eat the chicken, if I recall correctly. I stuck it in the refrigerator. No one ate the chicken. No one ate the chicken. No one ate the chicken. And then this chicken, who died, was going to go to waste. So I'm pretty sure I ate the chicken. In fact, I've been having to eat meat, not having, choosing to eat meat since then because when I go out to restaurants or travel or just anywhere really in this state, it is more likely that the meat options are going to be healthier than the non-meat options. So I can assume that the meat that is served at Montana restaurants is grown in healthier conditions than the vegetables that I get in Montana restaurants. And that's complicated. When I went to Mexico, the people I hung out with, 2 of them were vegetarians, and so I wanted to honor that with them, and so we all ate non-meat while I was there, and that was pretty awesome. That's it. Okay, so and back to the comments. Something just moved. Here we go. Brian says, I was presenting a keynote on ACE, asexual inclusion in high school gay straight alliances last month, and I got a question I can't seem to work through, so I'm assuming that you wrote it. Yep. Because GSAs are often the only place queer youth can go to have their sexuality and sexual experiences validated and discussed. How can we uplift and support the sexual experiences of these youth while ensuring ACE students are also welcome in this space? Any thoughts? Maybe I need to work through this more in my mind, but I determined at some point that asexual was a form of sexual. So when I would hear people talking and they'd say, all of you are sexual beings, I'd be like, what about the asexual ones? Are they sexual beings? Did you just offend someone? But I really believe that asexuality is a sexual orientation of sexual beings. And that is the sexual way it expresses itself, which is non-sexually, asexually. So I think inclusion is good there. But before I do any presentation, I have this list of agreements, and you can find it on Tumblr if you look, but it says things like, you do not have to have sex in order to experience this presentation. You don't have to have sex because you watch this presentation. You do not have to have sex at all. This is a safe place for all sexualities, including asexuality. And I think I say something like, I want this presentation to improve all sexualities, including asexuality. And so that's the kind of space that I hold for it. Definitely acknowledging that it's there, that people are asexual. I think it's helpful because then in your examples, you're more inclined to use characters who identify as asexual, pan, having disabilities, being deaf, etc., if you are aware of kind of the diversity that is out there. I hope I answered your question. Do you have any advice on talking to children about sex and gender? I mean, I guess I was going to say I have those episodes about talking to kids about sex, and then there's the bathroom one, which I think is helpful. Just refusing to say that penis means boy. So when I talk, I would say something like, to my daughters, for example, right? I have foster kids who come in and out of the house, and I'll say something like, I don't know whether or not you have a penis. And I can pretty much assume that because the state would tell me if this person was trans or intersex, etc. But I try to point out that I'm not going to assume their genitals as a way of modeling that they can do the same for others and not assume those people's genitals. I think I skipped some questions when I was going through. How to have a conversation with your partner about non-traditional relationships like open relationships or polygamy. Watch Sexplanations episodes. And do a conversation with your partner about non-traditional relationships like open relationships. Do you have any advice on talking to children about sex and gender? I did that one. Why be surprised that there's info about chicks in this chat? Yeah. Can you do an episode on how to maintain a relationship? Just keep up with your want, will, won't lists. Check in on them. There is a reward on Patreon that I need to update, but it essentially sends you a sex tip a couple times a month. And that's nice because then you get in your inbox this reminder sporadically about how you can spice it up. Studying behavior change models. Maybe this is what I'll do as an episode too, since I know so much about behavior change models because of my master's degree. Is also a really cool way to see how maintenance works. Oh yeah, Pride is a great way to talk about sex and gender with your kiddos. What is a sexuality tree? I don't know what a sexuality tree is. Foolhardy camel, please tell us. Oh, Jocko told us. Are you really on the Instagrams? I am in that I have an account, but I don't use it because I don't know how. I have a crush on Twitter. I don't know. Maybe I'll do some more with that today. Thank you for making your videos. American sex education is horribly lacking, especially in the Bible Belt. So without your videos, I feel like I would know so much less. I feel like you would too. Thanks for watching my videos. And I hope you share them with the people who live around you. Kind of answered my question, and I totally had the same troubles answering during my talk. Is there a way I can follow on what isn't limited to YouTube chat? Follow up on this that isn't limited to a YouTube chat? Yeah, I mean, people write me at sexplanationspa@gmail.com for my personal assistant so that they can set
Hey Lindsay, your sound is off. I don't know if you can hear me, but we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, thanks.
I don't know why it just went off. That's so weird. Okay. Ooh, look at all of you in the Google chat comments.
Yeah, hi.
Whoa! I meant like I was reading the sidebar and then you said hi, and then I saw all of these people that we've not here before.
Hi. Hi. We joined in from the Netherlands again.
I'm glad.
Yeah, today we had our first polycule meet. So we met some of the connections in our polycule today, and we had a whole support group thing going on for an hour. And now we're just hanging out with drinks, and we saw your your link, and we thought, oh, we have to show this to our other polycule guys. So now we're just here with 6, I think. Approximately.
Where wait, there's 6 of you? It looks like there's 5 of you.
Yeah, there's the 6th one on the bathroom.
Oh, okay. Cool, hi.
Hi.
We've just been talking about kids and chickens and taboo topics and
Cool.
vaginal fluid.
We missed a lot. We missed a lot, clearly.
Okay.
We had a whole conversation about safer sex and new poly people, and well, that's I think our day.
How fun. So now you're going out for drinks?
No, we're staying in for drinks.
Oh, staying in for drinks.
Yeah.
It's easier.
Hank Green says that's cheaper.
It is.
Yeah, we have live music. There's a festival going on there.
In our backyard.
Oh.
You're spoiled people from the Netherlands.
We're privileged.
Yeah.
Very.
It's not mutually exclusive.
Cool, it's so good to see you all. How fun.
And actually, so
what? Yeah.
she has a sort of a hoarse voice, so I'm gonna talk for her.
Yeah, it's fine.
So she had she's been continuing her plans to become a sexologist.
Ooh, fun.
Mhm.
That's
And
awesome.
I'm quite the proud girlfriend.
Yeah, she's gonna change the world. That's awesome.
One teenager at a time.
Good.
Teenagers now.
I'll do that.
You can take the teenagers. Anyway, but we don't have that specific questions, I think, and we're with a lot of people, so I think we're gonna go on mute for a while.
Okay.
Unless, yeah.
We're not going to be very coherent anyway. So.
Yeah, and we don't want to dominate the conversation, but we're happy to hang out a bit.
Okay. Cool. I'm glad you're here. While I'm on the Google chat screen, are there others of you who have questions? Shelly, if you're talking, oh, there you go.
Yeah. Devin has a question here.
Okay.
I forgot.
Okay, we'll come back.
Okay. Anyone else? Let's see, Andreas, Ben, Brian, Hane. Is that how you say your name? Hane? Max, and Shelly, and Devin. Hi, Ben.
Hi. My bandwidth is just real off the wall today, so I've been keeping the camera off.
Ah, do you have a question?
I don't know. Maybe just like thanks for doing the bathroom episode since I've really enjoyed all the updates from the Mexico trip. But like that kind of overshadowed any opportunity to talk about the bathroom episode, and I thought y'all nailed it. So good job.
Oh, thank you.
I was wondering when y'all would do one, and that'd be cool. Are there any? You said there before that you might do like incest as a topic, or you might do something. This was when you were talking about how you felt like, or how you seen the world as the healthcare industry is very anti-woman. You were talking about that, and I was wondering, like, is there anything related to that you would like to discuss on the channel, like regarding women's health, and that you felt before you might not have done it in the early days of Sexplanations, but now you're like, yes, absolutely. Is there a topic that you can think of that fits that?
I mean, the taboo ones that... Okay, let me first give a place to those. So there's like pedophilia, incest, autoerotic asphyxiation.
Because like if you're gonna
But
like take on the challenge of like filling those gaps in information, like the ones that you think are the most underrepresented, I think would also be the most interesting for the channel. Like, I think it'd be really exciting.
Yeah, no, totally. I did make a list of all the things that I have alluded to doing. Like I say, oh, I'll do that in the future in videos, and then I haven't done it. And so, like, okay, here's the list. You need to do these things. They're on there. I guess in terms of women's issues, two things that have kind of pushed my button a little.
Yeah.
One on Tumblr, which is usually where I'm affected by things visually, I saw how men have been posing as women in like sexy ways, the way that we sell clothes or makeup or jewelry, all of those things. They've been substituting men to show how they're to be ridiculous. And I thought about that for a while when it first started happening and realized, like, those poses are nonverbal ways to communicate sexuality. And as ridiculous as they may be, that we do like the like open mouth things or stick our hips way out or whatever it is, the distinction of sexual positioning and non-sexual positioning is really, really helpful, because the sexual positioning things that I am taught to do with my body to indicate when I want to be sexual or when I want to consensually be sexualized allow me to have a world that doesn't have those things, or could do without those things. Like, people may still put sexuality onto me here, but I am not consenting to that. That makes sense? I still need to put together my thoughts and write about it. But
yeah, but that sounds like a really exciting episode already, like what you're talking about right now. Like,
yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Another one that came up was also on Tumblr, and it's about how I think Susan Sarandon was talking about boycotting Woody Allen because he's been abusing children. And then there was another blogger who wrote, yes, more of this. And I was like, no, I don't think that boycotting people or shaming people or anything like that is the way to go or is the way to help perpetrators. And so I want to do an episode about perpetrators, how to help perpetrators, what perpetrators can do so that they can get better. Because if we keep them in a shame cycle, it's the shame that causes them to act out. Right? Because like they feel bad about themselves, so they act out so that they can feel better about themselves, and then they feel bad about themselves, so they act. Like, we need to get them out of that cycle. And there's so many resources available to victims. That's great. That needs to exist. But when I have a client who is a perpetrator, or I know someone who's a perpetrator, there are very few places for them to get help. And if they do so, it has to be very, very clandestine. Because if somebody knew that they were a perpetrator, then they would treat them differently or they would ostracize them. And that is not the way that people get to be healthy sexually. Not to mention the fact that so many victims become perpetrators. And it's so if we don't help them at some point in the cycle, then the cycle just goes and goes and goes. It's horrible. So I don't know if that's a women's issue so much as like all of us need this.
Right. It's still a great episode topic that would make I think that'd make a great episode of explanations. I think it would be really challenging for the channel. But
you're such a great cheerleader.
I mean, I subscribed to Patreon like before all the Patreon talk earlier in the episode, but like I want more of this content in the world, you know? I want more of these conversations out there because, like, even just now, I learned something. I didn't know that, like, as far as perpetrators receiving any sort of help beyond the criminal justice system, like, I didn't know they could actually find therapy. Like, that's a very helpful thing that you just shared, so I appreciate that a lot.
Thanks. Good.
Agreed.
Oh, good. I'm glad I can do my job. It's so fun. You guys are so great.
Couple
Alright.
more questions.
Yeah, bring it.
Okay. First of all, statement. Totally agree with the support for perpetrators. Where is that? You know, like they say, obviously, the victims do need a support system. I mean, it's a terrible thing for, what happens to them is terrible, and there has to be some kind of therapy for that. But you're right. Like, I feel like the
Like the cycle of like continued abuse is like never going to end, and like perpetrators will either repeat or like more people will adopt those behaviors if they're not helped like either before those behaviors begin or like after they've already committed it, you know?
Yep.
So it's just like learning how to express yourself in a way that's healthy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that is exactly what I'm saying. And it goes hand in hand with pedophilia because there's, you know, I don't want to say there's nothing wrong with pedophilia, but there's like there's no crime to pedophilia. There's no there doesn't have to be any shame to pedophilia, right? That's just how that person is wired. The problem is child molestation when you take the attraction and you turn it into behavior. And so if people didn't feel ashamed about being pedophilic, they could get the help that they needed to prevent acting on it.
Yeah, like if they could say, you know, I'm thinking these things before actually acting on these things, maybe there wouldn't have to be a third party that's affected.
Yep. Ta-da! We're gonna save the world.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you think about it. I mean, I've read certain things to where, and I don't know if this is entirely accurate. However, when it comes to men, the reason why they do feel these feelings are because they were themselves abused. So maybe this is like a byproduct of something negative. So maybe if there weren't the negative thing, I don't know. I mean, not that we can, like she said, it's
like a cycle.
A cycle. So the cycle were broken, we could better, I don't know, like if it stops somewhere, maybe, I don't know, it's very hard to word. It's very hard for me to articulate because it bothers me a lot, I guess, but I don't know.
Again, I'm incredibly thankful for the conversation that we have started here. Thank you so much for sharing that. I feel I have learned a lot more today, so thank you.
Yay! That's awesome. I'm seeing that there's 2 of me, but I don't know how to get rid of the first me or the second me. I'm gonna say goodbye here in a few moments unless anybody else has any questions or concerns.
If you have a second, I have one more.
Okay.
Can men and women be just friends?
Yes.
Yes. What factors do
They
you
can
have
be just
to-
friends who imagine having sex with each other all the time but don't.
Wait a second. So you think it can't just be friends? Totally platonic. I'm sorry. Oh!
Yes, 2 dudes can be friends. We can be friends. It doesn't have to be sexual. It can be sexual.
Textbook.
What is this book?
It's called The Evolution of Desire. And it's the title of the chapter is Can Women and Men Be Just Friends? And I mean, you know, there's women and men, and there's men and men, and women, like anybody really, but They're basically saying, can two human beings be friends platonically? You know? Is it possible?
Yes.
Does that require maintenance? I mean, I guess,
Do you have friends?
yes, this is my friend.
We're friends.
You're friends?
Yes.
You're friends and you do each other?
No, we don't. But we are friends.
Okay. Are you just friends?
No, I don't think of you sexually.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
There.
So you just answered your own question.
Well, I'm just saying, maybe if someone of your preferred orientation were to be your friend, is it possible that you could stay strictly platonic with them?
No, because, like, I'm pan, but you're just my friend. Sorry. I mean, I really
Oh,
don't.
yeah, I mean, I guess that does make sense, because technically you could be attracted to women.
Yeah, I am attracted to women.
Yeah. And well, yeah.
Okay.
Devin, who are you?
Well, thanks for letting us have this conversation. That's funny.
I know that Ashley Bardell is doing a lot around sexual orientation and gender and coming up with this amazing glossary for it. So I haven't said anything, but I think that whole system is incredibly flawed. Even the people who designed the words heterosexual and homosexual thought that they were horrible words to describe the concepts. And so at some point, oh man, it's so hard. She's making a book and I don't want to interrupt it, but I want to say that heterosexual is an awful term because it's suggesting that I'm attracted to people of another sex, which isn't true. What's true is that I'm not attracted to people of the same sex.
Okay. Yeah, because, like, I'm not, like, you wouldn't be attracted to every
Right.
person who is, like, the opposite sex of you.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Orientation shouldn't be about who you're attracted to because, gosh, that could be like one person in a million. It should be more about who we aren't attracted to.
Okay, so you would be like, if you were straight, you would be like homo non-sexual.
It's like how to make it deeper.
Well, so it would be like a homosexual.
Okay, a homosexual.
A homosexual.
Boom!
Have you ever considered writing a paper, Lindsey? Have you ever considered writing a paper about a homosexuality? Like that's a paper topic. That's entomology. That'd be cool.
Well, okay, so
I guess with them writing the book, you don't want to step in that territory on some level. Like
I'm supposed to be writing a book, but I'm not.
Why?
You
need this?
So there's another layer to it, though, which is that. How do I explain this? There's biosex, and then there's gender. And gender is all that we can really, not even gender, gender expression is all we can really see, right? So we're not even attracted to someone's biosex because we don't know what that is, and we're not necessarily attracted to somebody's gender because we don't know what that is unless they tell us. What we're attracted to is someone's gender expression. And so I feel like homo is when somebody is like me. So, for example, like me would be I would say I'm femme, short-haired, opinionated, well-educated. Like, that is me. And so being homosexual would be attraction to someone like me. Not.
Is your homo your identity? Like, innately? Or I guess, how you, well, I don't know. I mean, you
So,
say,
for example, if you were homosexual, then you would be attracted to people who look and act and think like you. So even if it was a biosex, I don't know if you're cisgendered female.
yeah.
I'm going to say cisgendered female. And if you were attracted to a biosex male who had long hair and really soft, pretty features, and you sound like you have an accent from the South, and so like whatever ideals and values come with that, that would be homosexual.
Okay.
Okay.
Like two trans men, they're similar, so maybe that's homosexuality, rather than homosexuality being two people who have penises.
Oh, so okay, that's where the separation comes, because
Interesting.
you said that there's.
Well, I mean, I could share about this a little bit.
Yeah.
Like my very first crush on a girl, I was attracted to her because she like had this very like butch appearance, and at first like I thought that like she was a boy, and so I was just like, ooh, like you're really like an attractive man, like you're like she was like a stagehand like moving heavy things, and I was like, ooh, you're so manly, and like I was really attracted to that. And later found out that she was like, no, like I'm definitely like a woman, and like this is my life, and I'm a lesbian. And I'm like, oh, okay. And like, but I was like attracted to not like her female
Like features.
like I wasn't like attracted to her vagina. I was attracted to like her expression as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, if we classified it my way, would be a homosexuality.
Yeah.
Because I would say that that's heterosexuality, because unless you identify as butch, are you dying? I think my dog is dying. I have to go.
Oh my God.
I don't know what he's doing. It's not good though. Okay. Well, anyway, that to me would be a homosexuality, and I would love to continue the gender conversation on another live stream in the future. So we'll do this again. And let's see, Andreas wants to know about what I will write the book. And if any of you want to leave me comments on Twitter and Tumblr and Facebook and Instagram if I get there, and Snapchat about what kind of book I should write, then maybe I will write one.
Thank you for hosting.
You're very welcome. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.